Welcome back to the Fan Speak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown, our strategy edition. Today, Steve and I are going to be talking about different landing spots for these rookies and how they can have an impact in fantasy and, of course, our big board drafts. We're going to look at that in just 1 minute. That's right. Every week we do a strategy series looking at different things that we can analyze for best ball to improve our best ball game. And of course, right now in big board drafts, this is actually our second one this week. We did a strategy show earlier this week looking at the rookies, the risers, the followers, who we wanted to target. And today we are going to be looking at the rookies in a different way. We are going to be looking using our on-the-clock mock draft simulator. We're going to see the different landing spots for these rookies to see which, obviously, there's a range of outcomes, to see the different range of outcomes and how this could affect us in our big board draft. So, Steve, how are you doing? Are you ready to look at different rookie landing spots?
Yeah, no, it's fun to look at, and that's the whole point of the simulator. Look at different plausible scenarios. They're not going to be the same every time, and that's why you do it. Because look, there's a few picks we feel good about, but a lot that we have no idea. So
yeah, absolutely. And go ahead, say what were you going to say?
So that's why it's good to just look at some various options. And I think you mentioned we're going to look at like 3 rounds because that's where what the kind of draft capital you're kind of hoping for fantasy relevance. And so that's going to be our focus today.
Yeah, of course, there can be a Bucky Irving in the 4th round, early day 3 or something like that. But yeah, most of it, we want that day 1, day 2 draft capital when we're drafting these rookies. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And shout out to Steve. This is our on-the-clock mock draft simulator. And Steve created this. It was one of the first mock draft simulators out there. Steve created this in 2013 for the 2014 NFL draft. So this is our 12th NFL draft we're covering here in the 2025 NFL draft. And so Steve created this brainchild, one of the first mock draft simulators. There are now many. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but we love our on-the-clock mock draft simulator, and we have an Ultimate GM subscription. So the version you guys are seeing has absolutely no ads. That will actually be part of our best ball subscription that launches this spring, which is very exciting. So we will be pulling that up in a minute, selecting different settings, and then running through, again, the first 3 rounds. So Steve, any other thoughts? Again, when Steve created this, it was for just draft diehards to see, or team diehards. We love Washington. What could happen? Who could be available for Washington? Whether you're just a draft diehard, a rookie diehard, or just a diehard of a fan, it's just a fun way to look, as Steve said, plausible scenarios. Because, some people will throw out some scenarios that aren't very plausible. And this isn't trying to nail and predict the draft. It just shows what could happen, right?
Exactly.
Any other thoughts before we bring it over?
No, let's start going.
All right. So this is on the clock 2025, as you can see. And first step, you select the team. We'll start the first one. Will be Washington, because we are diehard Washington fans, and Washington's picking later in the draft. And as you see in the setup, again, it's nice with no ads for the Ultimate GM subscription. And has some other upgraded features in this draft simulator, in our on-the-clock simulator for the Ultimate GM subscription. So hopefully we can get our best ball subscription launch, and it'll be part of this. We'll use Steve's big board, Steve's team needs, of course, the official pick order. Do you usually do difficult settings, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you could select the speed where it just goes at a regular speed, or we'll do it fast because then we're just going to be recapping it. And then you can select the computer is basically running the 31 other teams, and you can have it use yours or one of the different boards. We'll pick a random big board. That way we don't know, they might be drafting off a different board, which is what happens in the real NFL draft. There's 32 different big boards. So let's draft them. So the Ultimate GM subscription may offer us trades. We could offer trades. We're not going to. We're just going to start round, and then we'll see what comes up. So it's going to fly through here because we selected the fast speed option. So at the top of the board, as a Washington fan, I wanted Marion Hampton. So let's look what happened before Washington comes on the clock. So Abdul Carter, Cam Ward to the Browns, Travis Hunter, Will Campbell, Membu are the top 5 picks. Do you want to go ahead and make our pick, Steve, and then we'll run through the fantasy relevant? Okay. So you're Adam Peters.
Let's go Hampton.
Yeah, I absolutely love Amari Hampton. I think he's going to go to a playoff team in round 1. Why can't it be Washington? Okay, so we'll go Hampton, and then let's go ahead and draft the full 3 rounds, and then we'll review. So as you can see, we got proposed a trade. We're going to go ahead and decline that and just keep the draft going. So Washington does have a pick in the 2nd and a pick in the 3rd. Okay, so we'll start round and then see. We got offered another trade. We're going to not take that. Top of the board, Alik Iomanor, Omar Norman, Xavier Watts, Landon Jackson, Maxwell Hairston, who I know was talked about some first round buzz. Jack Betch, obviously, we took with Deebo Samuel coming over. I don't know that that's going to be as big of a need. What would you do if you were Adam Peters?
Go JT to Mola, the Ohio State edge.
Oh, okay. The edge. Okay. Okay. So then we will make the 3rd round pick for Washington, and then we'll review these first 3 rounds. And again, see the fantasy impact that this is just simulating and, again, presenting plausible options. So top of the board, 3rd round pick number 79 is, you can see what position of need.
Go Denzel Burke. They need a corner.
I was going to say, it bums me out, though. No offensive lineman. Washington needs an offensive lineman. Yeah. I guess you didn't, the Charles Grant or nobody else really at the top of the board.
Yeah, I'd still go Burke.
Okay. All right. Now let's see the whole simulation here. So, so it goes as far as fantasy impact. Travis Hunter, New York Giants. Now,
Cam Ward first.
Oh, sorry. I totally missed that. I apologize. Cam Ward, Cleveland Browns. We are assuming he's going in the top 3 at this point. Yeah. So it's either going to be Titans, Browns, or Giants. So that, is obviously no surprise. And I think we are drafting accordingly. It's going to start all year, and that you could stack them with any of the skill position players. Travis Hunter, we've done shows about Travis Hunter, how much we want to be overweight on Travis Hunter and take swings. I actually would prefer if Travis Hunter went to one of the other top 5 teams because, with Malik Neighbors there. And then if for some reason, I don't know. I mean, I guess if they did sign Aaron Rodgers as a free agent, is Devontae going to come out east? It sounds like he wants to stay on the West Coast.
I don't think they have the money for Devontae.
Okay. I was going to say that would be bad. So Travis Hunter, New York Giants, would you still be as interested in him with Malik Neighbors?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's not going to be a number 1 wherever he goes. So, but he's clearly would be the Giants' number 2, like by a mile.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then Shedeur Sanders in this one goes to the Raiders. But in that scenario, I wouldn't be surprised if a vet was there, that don't know that he's going to start.
They're probably not taking him 6 overall if they have a vet there, but yeah.
Ted McMillan goes to the Jets. Ashton Genty to the Bears. That would just be fireworks in my mind. I think in BBM, he would move up to solidly in the 1st round. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Genty to the Bears.
Yeah, landing with Ben Johnson, absolutely.
Yeah. Matthew Golden to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren to the Colts. That's kind of been mocked a lot,
Yeah, I mean, and look, Colts they have a lot of defensive needs, could go that route. And Golden, especially if they end up trading Tyreek Hill, 4.3 speed, Matthew Golden, that's what they want on that offense.
Okay. And then Mbuka to the Steelers, obviously wide receiver is a massive need for the Steelers. Colston Loveland and the Chargers, that would be awesome as someone who's been drafting Colston Loveland a lot. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, he knows the coaching staff of the time at Michigan, so that works out pretty perfectly.
Now, this was, I don't know if you'd move down receiver need for Texans since they just signed Christian Kirk.
No, but they honestly still could go. I mean, this is a team that wanted 3 receivers last year. Now they have 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we took Amari in Hampton. That was our choice. I still think he goes round 1 to one of these playoff teams. I feel strongly about that.
And just real quick on Hampton, people wonder with Washington, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler. So far there's been no news on moving Eckler or him retiring. I think some people thought that after he had a couple of bad concussions last year, but Washington has said they want to upgrade the running back position, and Hampton absolutely does that. Brian Robinson, Eckler, these guys are not preventing Washington from making a big swing at the running back.
Yeah, I really have a strong feeling they're going to go running back day 1 or day 2. So, yeah, I mean, I think if an offensive lineman is there or an edge guy or something like that they really like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went that way. But listen, as a Washington fan, I wouldn't be mad about Amari in Hampton. I think he's going to be a great NFL starter, and I know you do too. Okay, Trey Harris. So then we go into this goes right into the next rounds. So day 2, starting at pick 33, at pick 35, Trey Harris to the Titans. And then how would you feel about your Trey Harris shares if you went to the Titans? Obviously, we don't know what the quarterback situation is.
Yeah, wouldn't know quarterback, but in this type of simulation, if they're not taking him in first or second round, maybe they got Darnold, maybe they got somebody they feel pretty confident about.
Right, right.
And so Harris and Ridley would be a great 1-2 punch in Tennessee.
Sure. This one, Jackson Dart to the Saints with Carr staying. I don't love that as much for, if you're drafting Dart and he does go to the Saints, but
this is kind of the reason to be not too bullish on Dart, because he's likely going to a situation where he's going to sit, and whether it's end of the first round, somebody trading up, or like this early second round, Saints would be the perfect spot for that.
Right. Okay, and then we got some more running back receivers here. Quishon Junkins, who I know you're very high into the Cowboys. That would be awesome for Junkins shares.
Yeah. And then the next one would be
any other thoughts on Junkins? Because I know
Junkins should be moving up, a round and a half if he goes to the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Johnson to the Colts. I don't love that. That would suck.
Be bad, but that's the thing. The Colts need a number 2 running back. We saw last year when Jonathan Taylor missed games. Sermon and Goodson were just awful. I don't think they likely go in the second round, but it could be a value thing, and we see this every year. It happens. We saw it. The Seattle Seahawks took Kenneth Walker in the second round one year, took Zach Charbonnet in the second round the following year.
Yeah,
it does happen.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Caleb Johnson. Don't you think they'd be looking for more like a different skill set? Isn't Caleb Johnson kind of more the same skill set as
well, I mean, not necessarily, because Trey Sermon was the number 2 back last year, and he was the skill set.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope for my Caleb Johnson shares.
I hope so not as well. But this is a good reminder that sometimes teams do this.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where I want to diversify your portfolio, even if you're high on a rookie. Excuse me, Jaden Higgins, who we are very high on. I think he's my highest on receiver right now. Cardinals. So it would be like a 1-2 punch. Well, 3 punch. It would be obviously McBride, Marvin Harrison, and Higgins. So that would be quite a receiving core there. Let's see, tight end Mason Taylor, Dolphins. Jonnu, that wouldn't be.
The irony being, his dad was Jason Taylor, and his uncle is Zach Thomas. So that's just pure.
It's like the simulator knew. The simulator knew. Oh, this one would be fun. Travion Henderson to the Steelers. That would be awesome. That would be.
It's just a fantastic pickup for Pittsburgh. And look, this would be 2 pickups, Mbuka and Henderson. That offense could be very fun, very fast.
Oh, I mean, talk about like getting some fantasy goodness that of positions of need for a team. Mbuka and Henderson, that would be really good landing spot for the Steelers and for us as drafters. And of course, this is not factoring in free agency because we don't know free agency yet. Obviously, once free agency happens, then this will change and the team needs will change in this, and then the simulator will adapt. So, if for some reason DK Metcalf is traded to the Chargers, then probably they don't take Jalen Noel here.
Yeah.
But in this case, we don't know that yet. So Jalen Noel goes second round to the Chargers. That would certainly be an amazing landing spot, being with Herbert and McConkey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't love this because we just drafted Jatavian Sanders last year, but they could still do it. I think there are other.
I think they're very likely to upgrade their tight end room. So I think they are very much in the mix in the second, third round of this very strong tight end class to add somebody.
Yeah, no, it's a very strong tight end class. Another wide receiver to the Bills, Alik Iomanor. The Bills have just been kind of collect receivers, yet nobody seems to do what we want them to do in fantasy quite yet.
Yeah, and he's not my favorite type guy because I do think he's a project, but he does fit what they need, an outside X receiver.
Right, they do need an X receiver.
But he is not ideal in kind of making an early impact.
Right. Jack Betch to the Eagles. As their third wide receiver, I don't know if that would be great as far as my Jack Betch shares.
Yeah, no, probably not the best landing spot, but definitely in the range of outcomes. Eagles are, like I've said before, they're a team who drafts guys early. And, they have Jahan Dotson for one more year, but look, they know weapons are, where it's at. And I could see them adding a receiver in the second and third round.
So Restrepo to the Chiefs, obviously, they've gotten, rookie receivers the last couple of years, but this is a slot only type receiver. So could kind of fill that
fill in nicely this year with Rashee Rice out and suspension. He would fit in perfectly with that offense.
We'll see when Rice comes back and then what the suspension is, but
But he is the type of guy they could look at because he's ready to go. He doesn't need much seasoning.
Yeah. This is our guy, Cam Scatterbo. We've drafted a ton of them. How would you feel if he went to the Browns to join Jerome Ford? Not a great team, but but a role.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, but the role in the team, it sounds super fun, right?
Yeah, perfect landing spot.
Okay. Jalen Royals, we've been drafting a bit. Drake May, another weapon for Drake May. Certainly. Yeah. Do you think Royals is upgrade over the receivers that disappointed last year?
Absolutely. I think he's an upgrade over those receivers who they drafted last year. And I think he's an upgrade over the receivers who were actually playing last year, like, Boutte and Douglas and et cetera.
Yeah. Okay. Then Harold Fannin to the Bears. I think that's.
Yeah. I think we saw, again, Ben Johnson was aggressive getting Sam Laporta. We'll see what he feels about Cole Kmet. But don't be surprised if they, again, utilize this good tight end.
Well, I've been drafting, and he's such an athletic tight end. That would be I've been drafting him a good bit, so that would be fun. Zaya Bond to the 49ers. There's rumors that there could be another trade on deck, so this wouldn't shock me. I don't love Bond, but.
Well, it'd make a lot of sense if Ayuk is traded because Bond is that deep threat receiver, fills that role of Ayuk. He'd be the third receiver on the team, but it would be a good fit for him.
Okay. And then we got a little run on defense here. And then Devin Neal, who we've both been drafting to Chargers. That would be very nice. I can't remember who Chargers had in the past. Oh, we can view it here too.
Loveland and all
these are all fancy weapons. I was like, I thought there was
they're absolutely neat. So
they absolutely do.
Neal, especially if they let Dobbins go, Neal would just be a smash play for them.
And I know Gunnar Helm kind of went down people's rankings for best ball, but if he took the Evan Ingram, well, I guess we've been drafting Brenton Strange, so it would be paired with Brenton Strange.
So he's probably the number 2 there, but makes sense for a need with Ingram now being cut.
Okay, and then Savion Williams to the Rams. That like a gadgety type player, right?
Yeah, what they gave Puka Nacua runs, this is Savion Williams. I've said all along, I want him to go to a creative offensive mind. Doesn't get much more creative than Sean McVay.
Yeah. Ollie Gordon to the Ravens. That wouldn't be good as far as if you're drafting Ollie Gordon, because that wouldn't be a very desirable situation because of who he'd be behind. Tez Johnson to the Saints. a speed guy, I guess,
Well, he's
Well,
more.
actually, no, he wasn't the speed guy because
He's more going
he
to be
tested.
in the slot and
That's right.
does fit well with Olave and Rashid Shaheed. So they need wide receiver depth, no question.
Ooh,
So it wouldn't be a
this
terrible
one,
landing spot.
this one I like. I've drafted quite a bit of Dylan Sampson. Chiefs definitely need a running back. This
Yeah,
would be fun.
And he's got that elite speed. Could really be a nice piece in that offense, whether it's like him or Pacheco or Hunt in there.
I pulled up the Chiefs draft, and they drafted a offensive tackle in the first round, and then went Restrepo in the first pick second pick of the third round, and then Sampson with their other third round pick.
Yeah.
So that would be super fun for the Hampton shares, or excuse me, for the Sampson shares. And finishing out, well, 2 quarterbacks, but not ones we're really drafting. This would be smart for the Dolphins, I think, to draft somebody behind Tua that could be functional. And then Will Howard, that is. And then Jalen Milroe to the 49ers, just a backup quarterback. And this is why I'm not drafting other quarterbacks other than really Cam Ward, and then sprinkling Sanders and Dart, because situations that could happen on day 2, basically. So I don't know. Did you want to run another draft, or did you? I mean, I think that we kind of cover. I mean, we could run a quick one. So you can just redraft with the same settings, and we can just like quickly look at anything that sticks out.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
Take
Edge. Donovan Jackson.
No. Take Scranton right there.
The Edge. Okay. So we're running just another Washington simulation, just seeing if there's anything else fun that stands out in a second simulation here. Okay, round 2. Firing through it, and top of the board. Goodness, we cannot get we get Tate Redledge from Georgia?
You don't want Cam Scatterbo?
Where's Cam Scatterbo? Yes, let's go. My 54% can, I think he can beat out. That would be fun. Okay. I totally missed that. Thank you for catching that. Okay. Washington is Charles Grant from William and Mary good?
Yeah. I mean,
how is he a third rounder from such a small school?
Well, I mean, he looks the part, but he might need some development time, but I mean, give him a shot.
All right, let's give him a shot. Let's see what happens here. All right, we did a quick very quick simulation here. Pretty similar up top. Tet went to the Raiders.
Warren to the Jets, which I really like. I mean, Conklin's gone. They need a second weapon past Wilson. I think in the last draft they took McMillan, but Warren makes a lot of sense to them, and to me is actually probably a better landing spot than with the Colts. Genty back to the Bears.
I mean, again, if you run a bunch of simulations, you're going to get different scenarios for Genty. But I mean, if it is Bears or Dallas, holy cow!
Raiders would be
Raiders. Yeah, that's true. Raiders, Cowboys, or Bears. It's like, holy cow! This is great.
And so
great
Dallas here taking Matthew Golden. They need a receiver opposite Lamb. Loveland to the Colts. I think. Not the best landing spot, but definitely could happen. Mbuka back to the Steelers. They need receiver. Burden Texans again need receiver. Shador Sanders Rams. This is actually Sean McVay talked about this today, or came out today. They want a young quarterback to learn behind Matt Stafford. Doesn't help us with drafting Sanders. That's probably one of the worst spots for him short term. Long term, it's a great landing spot for Shador Sanders.
Long term, actually, probably for his long term, outlook, that would probably be the best case scenario for him.
Oh, absolutely. Not only that, like playing in a dome, it fits him well because he doesn't have the strongest arm. So,
Oh my gosh, look at this. Marion Hampton to the Chiefs at 31. That would
I mean,
be.
that's what could happen.
This is why I need more of Marion. I have like 20 some percent of Marion Hampton, and I want more. And it's for this reason. I think he's going round one to a playoff team. We took him in the first as Washington, but I think he's going to a playoff team. Okay, let's quickly go through the next couple. Trey Harris,
Harrison Dart, those were the same as last time. Good. Let's just keep rolling it. Junkins to Dallas, great landing spot. Caleb Johnson, Colts. That was the same as last time. I might need to bump. I know they're taking a running back early, but might need to bump that down a bit. Some of these are the same, unfortunately. Trayvon Henderson, same to the Steelers. Noah to Tampa would be interesting if Godwin leaves. Obviously, if Godwin stays, then that need no longer exists the same. Arroyo to the Chargers, if they're not getting Loveland in the first round like they did in the last draft, Arroyo to the Chargers looks really nice. And boy, Chiefs are really, really looking good here. Getting Jack Beck.
And then of course we took for Washington Scatterbo. I'd love that. And then Jack Betch going to Chiefs, that would be super fun.
And not helping best ball, but Quinn Ewers. Look, at the Giants are passing on quarterback at 3. They're taking one. They're probably taking one early. Restrepo, I mean, he's the most Josh McDaniels slot wide receiver you'll ever find, so it actually makes a lot of sense. Fannin, like we talked about, they're going to add a tight end at some point. Jalen Royals to the Bears, nice fit to replace Keenan Allen, give another weapon. Bomb back to the 49ers. Helm to the Bengals, particularly if Mike Gesicki leaves, that makes a lot of sense. And then Neal to the Chargers, fantastic landing spot like we talked about last time. Unfortunately, Sampson to the Browns, another good landing spot for Sampson. Tez to the Vikings, definitely not a good landing spot for him, but could absolutely see that. So,
and again, the backup quarterback situation.
Yeah, so definitely some similar things, and not shocking because these teams' needs are their team needs, and if the guy is there, they're likely to take that position. So
actually, if we click this link, we can see this is most drafted by users on the clock. So this is just what people who are drafting for their team are drafting the most. So that's why you'll see duplicate guys. Both the Falcons, drafters and Ravens drafters are drafting DL Kenneth Grant. But Chicago Bears, Ashton Genty, Cleveland Browns, Travis Hunter. Let's look for other ones.
Golden to the Cowboys.
Golden to the Cowboys. That makes a ton of sense and would be great. Houston, Ibuka. We talked about that. And again, these are users drafting it the most. That's why we see Travis Hunter again to the Jaguars. If you fell to 5 and you're drafting for the Jaguars, you're taking Travis Hunter. Offensive tackle to the Chiefs, not a skill position in this one. This is just round 1, obviously. Chargers, I want them to draft a skill position like we saw in the
but it makes sense with them cutting Bosa. They need edge.
True. Raiders, Tet, that would be fun. I mean, we need to see who the quarterback is, but that would be fun for fantasy. Tyler Warren, Jets. As you said, that's better than Colt. Well, is it though? Because we don't know the Jets quarterback.
I think it's way better because the Jets right now, their offense, it's Garrett Wilson. Everyone else, their number 2 receiver under contract are Corley and Gibson. They have nothing else.
Yeah. Jets, Tyler Warren, Steelers, Matthew Golden, both of those. So you just talked about the Tyler Warren, Matthew Golden to the Steelers, desperate need. And then this would be obviously back up to Geno, Shador to Seattle. And then, no other fantasy positions. So, again, check out On the Clock, Mock Draft Simulator, Ultimate GM. If you get the subscription coming soon, we'll give you Ultimate GM for free as part of that. But this is just fun to look at different scenarios. That's why people look at mock drafts obsessively who are drafting best ball drafts to see the different scenarios. You can just run different scenarios on the clock and play with different teams, or just let the computer, draft, or you're seeing what the computer's doing and you're making decisions for whatever team you select. But it's a fun way to see different scenarios and outcomes that, as you can see, not all are necessarily going to play out great, but some are going to be outstanding.
And that's what I like that this showed is, like a Caleb Johnson going to the Colts. Is it the most likely scenario? No, probably not. But it could happen. Stuff like that could happen, or a certain receiver going to a team that's a bit more stacked at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes teams just see the value. And like some of the times, I think the Jaguars in both the drafts and the third round took a tight end. Well, with Ingram being cut, they need a tight end. I like Brenton Strange a lot, but they could just say, hey, this is a talented tight end class. We're going to take one. And yeah, that guy's probably not as fantasy relevant as if he goes to a better team, but that's the risk we take.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole point of doing this. So this was fun, Steve. Again, we appreciate you watching these shows. Be sure to like this episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. As you can see, we're doing a $500 party giveaway, a live stream party giveaway when we hit 500 subs, which we are very, very close to. Best ball shows every single weekday. Tons of strategy shows like this. Tons of live drafts. We appreciate you guys. This has been fun, Steve. We're going to keep cranking out these strategy shows to help us make good decisions in best ball. So for Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.